For quite some time, it seemed as though the well of new content for Half-Life 2 had dried up, and the many assets referenced in the VMFs and Raising the Bar were either completely lost or never intended on being released by Valve. That is until recently, when the members of the Valve Cut content community started to share some of the rare files they had, and this had led to some interesting finds, and some heavy tension within the community itself. Now let me preface this by saying I will keep the usernames and identities of the people involved completely out of this video, and instead reference them as User 1 and User 2. The whole situation started on the 4th of August in a message board that usually is somewhat quiet. A member who will be referred to as User 1 posted a question asking if anyone had heard of an unused Half-Life 2 enemy type called the Roller Grub. There was no prior knowledge of this Roller Grub, so the user responded with, "It was just an old folder I found. Seemed to be an antlion that rolls up into a ball and rolls after you, then attacks." This was followed the same day with User 1 claiming that the bull squid was cut a second time for Half-Life 2 Episode 1. This claim prompted users to ask for some sort of proof as to how this is known, which prompted User 1 to post a video of an untextured model of a bull squid in the source engine. This was proven to be legitimate due to a texture sheet for an updated bull squid being found in the original 2003 leak, and the texture somewhat fit, showing that the model had not been from Episode 1, but instead was exactly what Valve intended the bull squid to look like in Half-Life 2. Not even a day later, the same user posts a picture of the early physics canon view model. Now, keep in mind, the history of this model has been known for a while. It was originally found in a video of a keynote being passed around. However, only screenshots of this keynote exist, and the picture of the original physics gun is very low quality. Seeing the model clearly was a shock to some and prompted many to ask for the models to be released. User 1 claims that there is no permission to do so on anything that was shown so far. This is around the time that User 2 comes in with their own screenshot of the early Phys Cannon, but with completed textures. The facts that these users would not release the materials or the supposed large collections they came from caused some irritation within the community. However, due to User 2 explaining where these contents came from, the Source Development Repository, which is a program where source mod developers can sign up and pay a few $1,000s to Valve to get access to Valve's internal source files for development, of course after signing an NDA, means nothing can be released from this source without Valve's permission due to breaking an NDA. So with the majority of what was seen so far coming from a possible broken NDA, the community somewhat calmed down. Now, another user posts hopes in response to this of someday seeing the likes of something like the Elite Metro Cop or the Gas Mask Citizen. And in response, User 1 posts that they have the Elite Metro Cop model and it's okay to release it, claiming that the Metro Cop model had been floating around a while, and User 1 also states that the model was completed and using the retail Combine Soldier animations, meaning it was cut very close to Half-Life 2's release. Shortly after, the texture sheet for a late beta Combine Soldier was also released, along with some unseen metal textures. Now this caused the community just to start asking for anything, in hopes that User 1 had it. And in response, things like the E3 2004 Citizen texture sheet and the E3 2002 Antlion texture sheet were released. The community was incredibly excited. However, the releases stopped and the community started sharing their own creations, which is great to see. This all came to a halt when User 2 posted a video of full playthroughs of Half-Life 2 Episode 2 prototype maps. 3 were seen, the first being an early opening of the game where Alex was to fall from the crashed train cars to her death, dated June 2006. The second map is an early version of the radio station from September of 2006, and the third is from a prototype of the original White Forest ending battle, where the first screenshots of the game were taken. Now, it is interesting to see this new content come to light. However, no one knows if it's okay for this video to be posted in the first place. It is known that these maps come from the Source Development Repository, so someone may get in trouble. Only time will tell. However, like most of you know, I am very interested in beta content, and I don't usually do videos like this. However, I feel as though since most of you are also interested in beta content, I should be able to tell you that yes, this is happening right now, and if you want to download the released materials, the screenshots, and the videos of everything that was released, I recommend checking out my buddy Jackathan's archive, where he has everything listed from the different releases that have happened over the last couple of days. I am currently trying to decide on what my next major project will be in regards to the betas of Valve's games. So here's what I'm doing. If you are a patron or you're thinking about becoming a patron, I am posting up a straw poll for all the patrons to be able to answer on which game or project I should be covering in my next The History of or the Unused Content of video. All patrons can vote on what game I do next, whether that be Quake Team Fortress or an unreleased Valve game such as 3-Wave or Prospero or maybe even Half-Life 2. Of course, these will take months to create, but I have a bunch of different projects in the works and a bunch of work being done on all of them, and I'd like to be able to focus on one and get it done quicker. So if you're thinking about supporting the channel, maybe check out my Patreon page, link to that down in the description, and if you pledge $2 or more, you can vote on what next beta video I do. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Tyler McVicker. This is Valve News Network. Have a good day. Adios.